Hi students, today we are going to see Geography Unit 4 Resources and Industries. Today we are going to see about resources and industries. In these lessons, our learning objectives are to learn about the resources and its types, to understand the concept of renewable and non-renewable resources, to identify the different types and distributions of industries in India, to analyze the problems of Indian industries. So today we are going to see about the industries and our resources. What are the types of resources and the concept of renewable and non-renewable resources, and identify the different types of and the distributions of industries in India. And also we are going to see about the analyze the problem of Indian industries. So children, listen the lesson well and understand the lesson.
They include minerals, forest, land, and water. Some natural resources, such as soil and water, are essential for the existence of life. So, any matter or energy derived from the environment that is used by us is called a natural resource. Natural resources include air, water, soil, minerals, fossil fuels, plants, wildlife, etc. Many natural resources are used as raw materials. They play a vital role in the economic development of any region. There are two types of resources based on continued availability: renewable resource and non-renewable resource. What is a renewable resource? A renewable resource is one that can be used repeatedly and does not run out because it is naturally replaced. A renewable resource essentially has an endless supply, such as solar energy, wind energy, and geothermal pressure. So, renewable resources are those which have natural regeneration after their utilization. Example: solar energy, wind energy, biogas, tidal energy, wave energy are the example of renewable resources. What are non-renewable resources? They are the sources that cannot be replaced again after utilization. It is a natural substance that is not replenished with the speed at which it is consumed. It is a finite resource. Example: coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. That is, all fossil fuels such as oil, natural gas, and coal are examples of non-renewable resources. Now let us see the difference between renewable and non-renewable resource. Renewable resources can be used more than once. They have unlimited stock supply. They have low carbon emissions, but it's very expensive to create or install the renewable resource. We can take solar energy as an example, and they have environmental impact. A non-renewable resource, it can be used only one time. It's made of fossil fuels, limited supply, higher relative carbon emissions, less expensive to create, and both renewable and non-renewable resources have environmental impact. What are minerals? Mineral is a natural substance of organic or inorganic origin with definite chemical and physical properties. What is mining? Mining is extracting ore or minerals from the ground. And ore is a natural material with a high concentration of economically valuable minerals that can be mined for a profit. And there are two types of mining. The mines near the earth's crust are known as open pit mines. The deep mines are known as shaft mines. So the two type of mines are open pit mines and shaft mines. The two types of minerals are metallic and non-metallic. On the basis of chemical and physical properties, minerals are broadly grouped under two categories. They are metallic and non-metallic minerals. Now let us see the properties of metallic minerals and non-metallic minerals. Metallic minerals. Metallic minerals or minerals that contain metals in their chemical formula. Metallic minerals have a shine of their own. Metallic minerals are associated with igneous rocks. Metallic minerals are quite ductile. What is ductile? Ductile is the ability of solid material to deform under tense or stress. Practically, a ductile material is a material that can easily be stretched into a wire when pulled. Gold is the most ductile material on our earth. Metals can be extracted by melting the metallic minerals. Non-metallic minerals or minerals that do not contain any metal elements in their compounds. Non-metallic minerals do not have a shine of their own. Non-metallic minerals are associated with sedimentary rocks. Non-metallic minerals are non-ductile and can be broken upon collision. Non-metallic minerals do not yield new products upon yielding, upon melting. Metallic minerals are the minerals which contain one or more metallic elements in them. These deposits consist of a variety of valuable metals like iron, manganese, copper, bauxite, nickel, zinc, lead, gold, etc. Metallic minerals occur in rare, naturally formed concentrations known as mineral deposits. First, let us see about iron ore, which is a metallic, very important metallic mineral. Iron ore is most widely distributed element of the Earth's crust. Rarely it occurs in a free state. It enters into the composition of many rocks and minerals, especially from igneous and metamorphic rocks. The total recoverable reserves of iron ore in India are hematite and magnetite. So in India, mostly hematite and magnetite type of iron ores are mined in India. And this is the iron mine, and this is the extracted iron from the iron ores, and this is how it is processed. Distribution of iron ore in India. Jharkhand is the leading producer of iron ore with 25% of the country's production. Singhbhum, Hazaribagh, Dhanbad and Ranchi districts are its major producers. So Jharkhand is the leading producer of iron ore in India. And next comes Odisha. Odisha with 21% production, it ranks second in the production of iron ore in India. Sundargarh, Mayurbhanj, Sambalpur and Keonjhar districts are its major producers. The magnetite production of Chhattisgarh is 18%. Rajgarh and Bilaspur are its leading districts. Karnataka is 20%. Chikmagalur, Chitradurga, Shimoga and Dharwad districts are its major producers in Karnataka. Next, Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu produce about 5% each. Kurnool, Guntur, Kadapa and Anantapur districts in Andhra Pradesh and Salem, Namakkal, Tiruvannamalai, Tiruchirappalli, Coimbatore, Madurai and Tirunelveli districts in Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu have iron ore deposits. SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. The Ministry of Steel is responsible for planning and development of iron and steel industries in India. Next, manganese. It is a silvery gray element. India is the 5th largest producer of manganese in the world. Manganese ores usually consist of dark brown to black oxides, particularly pyrolusite and silmonglane, available in combination with iron, laterite and other minerals. It serves as basic raw material for alloying. Nearly 10 kg of manganese is required for manufacturing 1 ton of steel. It is also used in the manufacturing of bleaching powder, insecticides, paints and batteries. And manganese is essential to iron and steel production by virtue of its sulfur fixing, deoxidizing and alloying properties. It is also used in steel making, dry cell batteries, plant fertilizers, animal feed, and it's used as colorants for brick. And manganese was discovered by Johann Gahn in 1774. The large, that is vessels, brass and bronze are obtained when the copper alloys with zinc and tin respectively. In Tamil, brass is called as pittalai and bronze is called as vengalam. Brass, when it combines copper, when it combines with zinc, we get the alloy of brass. When copper is combined with tin, we get the alloy of bronze. Copper has been commonly used for making cooking utensils and other objects of common utility. In modern days, it is extensively used in vast variety of electrical machinery and wires and electrical wires. Now let us see about the non-metallic minerals. These minerals do not contain any metal in them. Mica, limestone, gypsum, nitrate, potash, dolomite, coal, petroleum, etc. are the non-metallic minerals. Mica. In ancient time, mica was used in Ayurvedic medicine. Mica became popular with the development of electrical industry. Abrak is a good quality, translucent, easily splittable into thin sheets, flat, colorless, elastic, and incompressible. What is translucent? It is the material, the translucent material lets light pass through, but the objects on the other side cannot be seen clearly. Mica is used in making of lubricants, medicines, paints, and varnishes. Since it is a non-conductor of electricity, it is exclusively used in electrical goods. And also it is used in making of insulating properties as it withstands high voltage and has low power loss factor. The major deposits of mica are found in Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Odisha, and Jharkhand. Limestone. Resources. The resources from which the electricity generated are called energy resources. Electricity is an important component of our life. No day-to-day activity takes without the use of this energy. It is also the key factor for all economic activities and industrial development. The power required to run any type of machineries in the industries is supplied by these energy resources. And these energy resources are categorized into renewable resource, energy resource, and non-renewable energy resource. And these renewable energy resources are the resources that can be replenished after we use. And non-renewable energy resources are mostly fossil energy resources and they cannot be regenerated. Now let us see about non-renewable energy resources. These resources are also called as conventional resources, that means which have been used by humankind for a very long time. First, let us see about coal. Coal is an inflammable organic substance composed mainly of hydrocarbons. Coal is available in the form of sedimentary rocks. It is used in the generation of thermal power. It has close association with the industrial development of any country. And we all know that the Industrial Revolution was started in England only because of the availability of the coal. Since it is a valuable one, it is also called as black gold. Based on carbon content, it is classified into the following types. The types of coal are anthracite, bituminous, lignite, and peat. And this anthracite coal, it has 80 to 90% of carbon content, whereas bituminous coal or soft coal, it contains 60 to 80% of carbon. And lignite or brown coal, which is mined in Neyveli in Tamil Nadu, it has 40 to 60%, and peat, it has less than 40%. So if the carbon content is more, it can generate more heat and pressure. Coal is an important source of energy in India with its varied and innumerable uses. It can be converted into gas, oil, electricity, and thermal power. Besides, it forms a basic raw material for the production of chemicals, dyes, fertilizers, petroleum. The word petroleum has been derived from two Latin words meaning petro. Petro means raw and oleum means oil. Thus, petroleum is oil obtained from rocks of the earth. Therefore, it is also called mineral oil. Petroleum is an inflammable liquid that is composed of hydrocarbons which constitute 90 to 95% of the petroleum and remaining is chiefly organic compounds containing oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and traces of organometallic compounds. So hydrocarbon, carbon and nitrogen together constitutes 90 to 95%, and the rest, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and other organic metallic compounds, they constitute the rest of the percentage. And this is how the petroleum is made, and these are all the byproducts of the petroleum. So natural gas usually accompanies the petroleum accumulations. It is naturally occurring hydrocarbon gas mixture consisting primarily of methane, but commonly includes varying amounts of other higher alkanes and sometimes a small percentage of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and hydrogen sulfides. So the major component is methane, and the rest of the components are ethane, propane, butane, condensates, and very, very low amount of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and helium. Natural gas is formed when layers of decomposed plants and animals are exposed to intense heat and pressure over thousands of years. It is used as a source of energy for heating, cooking, and electricity generation. It is also used as fuel for vehicles and as a chemical feedstock in the manufacture of plastics and other commercially important organic chemicals. Commercial and non-commercial. Now we saw about this coal and petroleum, and non-commercial firewood and dry dung, and non-conventional solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, bioenergy, and energy from urban waste, and all these non-conventional energies are renewable sources of energy. Thermal power is generated using fossil fuels like coal, diesel, petroleum, and natural gas. The thermal power station is a power station in which heat energy is converted to electrical power. In most, a steam-driven turbine converts heat to mechanical power as an intermediate to electrical power. Water is heated, turns into steam, and drives a steam turbine, which drives an electrical generator. National Thermal Power Corporation was established in the year 1975. At present, this NTPC has 13 coal-based super thermal power projects and 7 gas or liquid fuel-based combined cycle projects. They are in the states of Assam, Jharkhand, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Mizoram, and West Bengal. Neyveli, Mettur, Thoothukudi, and Ennur near Chennai are the important thermal power stations in Tamil Nadu. The next one is nuclear power. The energy released during nuclear fission or fusion is used to generate electricity. Nuclear energy is generated mainly from the minerals of uranium and thorium. The first nuclear power station was set up at Tarapur near Mumbai in 1969, which is called as BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center. Later, atomic reactors were installed at Rawatbata near Kota in Rajasthan here, and then Kalpakam in Tamil Nadu, and also in Kudangulam, and Narora in Uttar Pradesh, Kaiga in Karnataka, and Kakrapara in Gujarat. This is in Gujarat. So these are all the important atomic research power stations in India. The Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, NPCIL, is an Indian public sector undertaking based in Mumbai, Maharashtra. It is wholly owned by the Government of India and is responsible for the generation of nuclear power for electricity. Renewable sources of energy: solar power, hydroelectric power, biofuel, tidal power, and wind power. First, let us see about hydropower. Power generated from water is termed as hydroelectricity. Hydropower is the energy harnessed from running water or falling water. Most economic and non-polluting sources of energy is this hydropower. It contributes nearly 7% of global electricity production. The cost of production of hydroelectricity is relatively low. It is also a flexible mode of power generation, very quickly adapting to changing demands. The first hydroelectric power station in India was established at Darjeeling in West Bengal in the year 1897. National Hydroelectric Power Corporation is located in Faridabad in India. Solar energy. Solar power is a conversion of sunlight into electricity, either directly using photovoltaics or indirectly using concentrated solar power. Concentrated solar power systems use lenses or mirrors and tracking system to focus a large area of sunlight into a small beam. Photovoltaics convert light into an electric current using photovoltaic effect. The mass objectives of the Solar Thermal Energy Program being implemented by the Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources are market development, commercialization, utilization of heat energy requirement of different applications in domestic, institutional, and industrial sectors. Solar power is used in water heaters, refrigerators, drying, street lighting, cooking, pumping, power generator, photovoltaic cells, salon parts, etc. Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh are the major solar power producers of India other than these states. Wind energy. Wind energy is extracted from air flow using wind turbines. It is a cheap and pollution-free source of energy. Power from windmills are used for pumping water onto sail-propelled ships. Wind power is plentiful, renewable, widely distributed, clean, and produces no greenhouse gas emissions during operation. And these plants occupy only a less space. The development of wind power in India began in the year 1986, with the first wind farms were set up in coastal areas of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu, with 55 kilowatts vistas and turbines. The capacity has significantly increased in last few years. India has the fourth largest installed wind power capacity in the world. Tamil Nadu has the largest installation of wind turbines in the country in the Aralvaimozhi area near Kanyakumari. It is the largest, and the word is still used with that meaning. The rapid development of capital goods industries promote the growth of agriculture, transport, and communication of an economy. It also enables the country to produce a variety of consumer goods in large quantities and at low cost. It also eliminates our dependence on other countries for supply of essential goods. So, industries refer to the activities which convert the raw materials into finished products. This sector is also called as the value addition sector. So, the industries are involved in the activity of manufacturing. So, what is manufacturing? It is nothing but the conversion of raw materials into finished goods. On the basis of source of raw materials, the industries are classified into agro-based, forest-based, and mineral-based industries. First, let us see about agro-based industries. These agro-based industries draw their raw materials from agricultural sector, and our Indian agricultural industry is categorized as, or rather, it gets the raw materials from crops, livestock, forestry, and fishing. Natural fibers are obtained from wool, silk, cotton, linen, and jute. Textile is a broad term which includes cotton, jute, wool, silk, and synthetic fiber textiles. This sector in India is the second largest in the world. Yes, now we are learning about the textile industry or cotton textile industry of India. Traditional sectors like handloom, handicrafts, and small powerloom units are the biggest source of employment for millions of people in rural and semi-urban areas. Currently, India is the third largest producer of cotton and has the largest loom arc and ring spindles in the world. At present, cotton textile industry is the largest organized modern industry of India. The higher concentration of textile mills in and around Mumbai makes it as Manchester of India. Presence of black cotton soil in Maharashtra, humid climate, yes, the hot and wet climate of Maharashtra and also Mumbai is very much suitable for yarning the thread from the cotton. Presence of Mumbai port, availability of hydropower, good market and well-developed transport facility favor the cotton textile industries in Mumbai. What is ginning? Ginning is the process of separating cotton seed from cotton. And once upon a time, it was done manually, and now we have machineries for separating that seeds from the cotton. The major cotton textile industries are concentrated in the states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Coimbatore is the most important center in Tamil Nadu with 200 mills out of 435 in Tamil Nadu and called as Manchester of South India. Erode, Tirupur, Karur, Chennai, Tirunelveli, Madurai, Thuthukudi, Salem and Virudhunagar are the other major cotton textile industries of the state or centers of the state. Jute. Jute is also known as golden fiber. Jute is a low-priced fiber used mainly for making package materials like gunny bags. Today, jute is blended with cotton and wool to produce textiles. Now we have variety of products available in the market made of jute. We have even jute materials, jute slippers, jute bags, jute files, and etc. Jute boxes, etc. This is the second important textile industry in India after cotton textiles. Jute is the golden fiber which meets all the standards of goods packing with its natural, renewable, biodegradable, and eco-friendly products. The first jute mill in India was established at Risha near Kolkata in the year 1854 by the Englishman George Auckland. India tops in the production of raw jute and jute goods and second in the export of jute goods next to Bangladesh. Jute production includes gunny bags, canvas, pack sheets, jute web, carpets, cordage, hessines, and twines. Now, jute is also being used in plastic furniture and insulation, bleached fibers to blend with wool. It is also mixed with cotton to make carpet and blankets. The major jute producing areas are concentrated along the Hooghly River. This is the Hooghly River basin and the major center times. India is the second largest producer of raw silk next to China. Karnataka is the largest producer of silk. Other major producers of silk are West Bengal, Jammu and Kashmir, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Assam, and Tamil Nadu states. Sugar industry. Sugar can be produced from sugarcane, sugar beets, or any other crop which have sugar content. In India, sugarcane is the main source of sugar. At present, this is the second largest agro-based industry of India after cotton textiles. India is the world's second largest producer of sugarcane after Brazil. Sugar industry is decentralized and located near the sugarcane growing areas since they are weight losing and bulky to transport. Uttar Pradesh is the largest producer of sugar producing state. About 50% of the country's total sugar is contributed by this state. Other major producers are Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Odisha, Punjab, Gujarat, Haryana, and Madhya Pradesh. These states account for more than 90% of the sugar mills and sugar production. Next to agro-based industries, now let us learn about forest-based industries. Forests provide us with different types of material which are used as raw material for certain industries like paper, lac, sports goods, plywood, etc. Paper industry produces numerous types of papers. The uses of paper industry or the uses of paper are used for making sheet papers, paper boxes, tissues, paper bags, stationery, envelopes, covers, books, magazines, periodicals, newspapers, and so on. In India, the softwood is the principal raw material used for making paper, especially newsprint and high-class printing papers. Paper is a prerequisite for education and literacy, and it is an index of advancement in these two fields, that is in education and literacy, as well as the overall well-being of the society. And these are the softwoods or the timber, and they are made into the small pieces. And this is the wood pulp, and then finally the paper is made. The first paper mill of India was started in the year 1812 at Serampur in West Bengal. The first successful effort was made in 1867 with the setting up of the Royal Bengal paper mills at Ballyganj near Kolkata. The raw materials for paper industry includes wood pulp, bamboo, salai and sabai grasses, waste paper and bagasse. And bagasse is nothing but which we get after extracting the juice from the sugarcane. West Bengal is the largest producer of paper in the country, followed by Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Tamil Nadu. National Newsprint and Paper Mills is at Nepa Nagar in Burhanpur district of Madhya Pradesh. Mineral-based industries. Mineral-based industries use both metallic and non-metallic minerals as raw materials. The major mineral-based industry of India is nothing but iron and steel industry. Iron and steel industries. Iron and steel industry is called a basic metallurgical industry as its finished product is used as raw material by host of other countries. Several industries like engineering, heavy machines and machine tools, automobile locomotives and railway equipment industries use iron and steel as their primary raw material. So the iron and steel industry supplies the raw materials for most of the manufacturing industries. Due to this, the steel producing capacity of a country is generally taken as an indicator of its level of industrial development, not only as a large domestic market for automobile manufacturers, but also as a crucial link in the global automotive chain. So now we are going to learn about the automobile industries of India. And we all know that Chennai in Tamil Nadu is known as Detroit of Asia. The first automobile industry of India was started in the year 1947. And the industry is the Premier Automobiles Limited, located at Kurla, Mumbai. It was followed by Hindustan Motors Limited at Uttar Pradesh. India is the seventh largest producer of automobile manufacturers, two-wheelers, commercial vehicles, passenger car, jeep, scooty, scooters, motorcycles, mopeds, and three-wheelers. Major automobile centers are at Mumbai, Chennai, Jamshedpur, Jabalpur, Kolkata, Pune, New Delhi, Kanpur, Bengaluru, Sadara, Lucknow, and Mysuru. So these are all the major automobile centers of India. Tata Motors, Maruti Suzuki, Mahindra and Mahindra, and Hindustan Motors are the largest passenger car manufacturers of our country. Foreign car companies like Mercedes-Benz, Fiat, General Motors, Toyota, and passenger car manufacturers like BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, and Volvo makes the Indian automobile sector a special one. Tata Motors, Ashok Leyland, Eicher Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, and Ford Motors are the major Indian companies which manufacture commercial vehicles. MAN, ITEZ, Mercedes-Benz, Scania, and Hyundai are the foreign companies that engage in the manufacture of commercial vehicles. Two-wheeler manufacturing is dominated by Indian companies like Hero, Bajaj Auto, and TVS. Electrical and electronic industry. Bengaluru is the largest producer of electronic goods in India, and hence it is called as the electronic capital of India. Heavy electrical industries manufacture equipment used for power generation, transmission, and utilization are manufactured by these electrical industries. Turbines for steam and hydropower plants, boilers for thermal power plants, generators, transformers, switch gears are the chief products of these industries. The most important company in the field of heavy electrical is BHEL, that is Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. It has its plants at Hardwar, Bhopal, Hyderabad, Jammu, Bengaluru, Jhansi, and Tiruchirappalli. This industry covers a wide range of products including television sets, transistor sets, telephone exchanges, cellular telegram, computers, and varied equipment for post and railway, defense, and meteorological department. The other major producers of electronic goods centers are Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Kanpur, Pune, Lucknow, Jaipur, and Coimbatore. Make in India program was launched in 2014 to put India on the world map as a major hub for global design and manufacturing. This Make in India campaign, because of this campaign, Indian government is giving lots of attention and high priority to manufacturing industries, including sufficient investment and development. Software industry. India is home to some of the finest software companies in the world. The software companies in India are reputed across the globe for their efficient IT, information technology, and business related solutions. The Indian software industry has brought about a tremendous success for the emerging economy. In India, software industry began in 1970 with the entry of Tata Consultancy Services, popularly known as TCS. Along with this, L&T, Infotech, iFlex, Accenture, Cognizant Solutions, Galaxy Solutions India Private Limited, and ITC Infotech are the major software industries of our country. At present, there are more than 500 software companies all over India. It exports software services to nearly 95 countries in the world.